Nick Huber is a master at self-storage real estate, and I wanted to have him on the channel so we can share his story, but I also wanted to go in depth on his Twitter strategy, how he finds deals for real estate, and we also talked a lot about why entrepreneurs need to focus on more sweaty opportunities. We need to focus on places that aren't filled with other entrepreneurs trying to compete at the highest levels. That's where the real success is. So check out this interview and let me know what you think. Here's my talk with Nick Huber. This video is brought to you by Email 10K. Learn how to book meetings with billion-dollar brands and take your company to the next level at email10k.com. Before we jump into it, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Go and hit that button below. Like this video to encourage this type of content and ring that notification bell so then you can get notified when we release any new content. Nick, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate it, Alex.
For sure. I found you through Bilal, who you were on his podcast a long time ago, maybe a few months ago.
Yeah.
It feels like a long time ago. And I loved your whole approach to self-storage. I like that. I like the mental approach that you're doing as well, like how you're taking an industry that is normally so boxed in and now you're making it public. And I first wanted to start with what was the insight? What got you on Twitter? What got you sharing all of this stuff? Because this is relatively new for you.
Yeah, so I had a friend of mine who, well, I guess take it back to the podcast days. December 2018, I launched a podcast, was trying to promote it on anywhere that I could find entrepreneurs. It was a small business podcast, which happened to be Reddit entrepreneur, so r/entrepreneur. Got a little bit of a following there, up to about 500 downloads a day. And a guy named Moses Kagan reached out to me and said, Nick, I'm kind of passionate about small business entrepreneurship. I'm in real estate full time. And I said, oh, well, I am as well. We got to talking. It turns out he is doing a lot of what I'm doing now. He came on my podcast, talked about small business. We became friends, and he encouraged me and said, Nick, why don't you get on Twitter? And I was like, what, social media is a waste of time. It's definitely not worth my effort. It's not something I can easily monetize. No real reason for me to waste time on there. And he said, no, Nick, you don't understand. Twitter is a lot of smart people who make each other smarter. And if you follow the right people and say the right things, you will build relationships and you'll find investors and you'll find ways to grow your business and your personal brand.
I wonder when this started, because Twitter definitely went through a dead period, right? Because I was on Twitter in the beginning, and then it seemed like it died for a long time, and I had to be convinced too. I just seriously got into Twitter like 3 days ago, like doing it seriously, kind of, your style of just sharing everything. And we're about to make a sale on a course right now, like after 3 days of actually engaging on Twitter and doing it. So it's insane the amount of opportunity that's out there. So I remember you tweeting a while ago about one thread that changed your life. Was it a buildup? What happened with that thread?
Yeah, so I got on Twitter, started tweeting to nobody initially, right? I had 7 followers. Moses had 7,000 followers, and he liked one of the things I said and did a quote tweet and said, Nick let's welcome Nick to the real estate community on Twitter. And I got about 1,000 followers from that. And I think a small thread maybe had 200 or 300 likes on it. And that kind of got me on the map. And from there, it was just, 20, 30 every day for 6 months. And before I knew it, I had 10,000 as well. And then I think I was around maybe 30,000 in January when I did the thread that actually kind of went a little bit viral of 7 million impressions and 50,000 likes. And that was the 112 tweet bad advice thread that I wrote.
So let's talk real estate. I can give you some background on me. So I have barely any experience in real estate. I own one fourplex in St. Louis that has actually been cash flowing for like solid 3 years, even through Corona. So what is your strategy? What's your big thing when it comes to real estate?
So I originally started as a small business operator. 2011, my partner and I started a small business. 2016, we built our first self-storage facility from the ground up. Today, and for a while there, we were owner operators, right? It was just us, a couple family friends who were investing with us. But today I would consider myself a real estate private equity company owner, which means we do deals, raise money from high net worth individuals to put the deals together. We operate the deals, we own the deals, and we're scaling and growing that way. So we're self-storage owner operators, but also real estate private equity. So it's been an evolution since 2016 when we built that first building.
What got you into self-storage?
The small business, I think the thing about commercial real estate is you need some cash. You can't, it's not as easy to hack your way in like it is with housing, because housing, there's a lot of subsidized loans. There's a lot of ways that you can put very little down to get into a property, and there's a lot of cheap properties. Commercial real estate is not that way. A decent commercial real estate asset is over $1 million, and small ones are 500,000. So you got to have some serious cash to get in.
Yeah, my building was only 79,000.
Yeah, so commercial real estate's a little bit different, where the self-storage facilities we buy now average anywhere from $2 to $5 million for a deal, right? So they're pretty big. But we did buy a couple $500,000 ones early on that have been on paper some of our best deals, but they're just small, right? But yeah, the small business that we started back in 2011 opened the door for us to have the cash to do the commercial real estate. We'd saved money. We were living very frugally. We'd operated our business for 5 years. And that's when we said, okay, now we have $500,000 sitting in the bank. Let's go do some real estate of some kind. And we said, okay, what real estate is pretty antiquated? Hey, we're in the storage business. Let's look at self-storage. We started calling around operators, and it turned out they were no marketing, didn't answer the phone, 100% full, not easy to rent online. And this is when technology was advancing in a serious way from 2013 to 2017. It's when there was a lot of software as a service that was released for self-storage that made it easier to run the businesses. Basically, all we had to do was just block and tackle and operate, which we were good at. So the thing that people kind of mess up when it comes to real estate, in my opinion, is they think of it as a passive investment. I can just put my money in real estate. Everybody that I know in real estate, all they do is play golf all day. That's true, but early on in real estate, the ways to get a competitive advantage is to operate it and treat it like a small business and do the marketing, do the leasing, do the cost cutting, and really find a way to out operate everybody else. So that's what we did. We just built a self-storage facility, and we filled it up really fast because we were the only ones in town that allowed people to rent right on the website and get instant access. And we did remote management, so we didn't have a full-time manager on site right there, so it saved us a lot of money. And we've kind of used that same model to scale it up over the years now.
Was there a reason you went for self-storage versus, okay, typical service business owner would have gone for building SaaS to manage the service, or SaaS to manage the self-storage facilities, like software. They would have gone the software route. Was there a reason you went and actually built the facility? What was that process like?
My dad worked for a real estate developer, so he had some experience building from the ground up. He was not an investor. He was not an entrepreneur. He didn't understand the finance side of it, but he is the one that made us feel confident enough to say, okay, Nick, I will consult you guys. I will help you buy out this project. You go find the money, put the deal together, and operate the building. I have no idea what we're doing there, but I'll give you this one piece of like security, meaning, hey, I can make sure that this building gets built the right way. I'm going to help you do that. So that helps a ton. But I don't know. It's really interesting that you're hammering on this question, because I don't know exactly what really tipped us over the edge to go into real estate. I really don't. I think we knew a lot of wealthy people who did it. My dad worked for a phenomenally wealthy real estate investor. And we're starting to learn about some of the tax advantages of bonus depreciation and how you get to keep more of your profit in the real estate business than you do in any other field because of the tax treatment. We got lucky. I'll say we got lucky that we just decided to do it, and it paid off. Looking back at the risk we took, I never would suggest a 25-year-old to lay it all on the line and invest his entire net worth and every dollar that he's made to go build a new building.
Not on new construction.
We should have just bought one.
Yeah. How do you find your deals? I guess now you're using Twitter. How are you finding your deals, or what's the recommended path that you're teaching in your courses and stuff?
So as far as finding the real estate deals, it's a hell of a lot of work, and that's where 99% of people fail, because it's the hardest part. It's the bottleneck. It's where me and my partner are focused on finding the deals, because they're really hard to find. Everybody wants to buy storage, so you have to do the work. And we're cold calling owners, or emailing owners, or making lists on Google Maps of facilities we'd like to buy, and I'm picking up the phone and we're ringing them. We're talking to brokers. And yeah, it's a lot of, it's sales. You're selling yourself and your ideas, even though you're buying. So I'm on the phone and I get 5 seconds before I get hung up on to prove to that person that, hey, this is a legit person that might be able to make me a legitimate offer for my property.
What do you say on the call? What's the initial?
I understand that if you're talking to a self-storage owner, you have, like I said, maybe 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds before they're going to hang up on you. And their first question is, are you a broker? Because they don't want to talk to brokers who are going to help them sell it. And they also don't want to get lowballed, and they don't want to do a lot of work. And a lot of times they're not very organized. So in the first 5 minutes of or first couple seconds of the call, I try to say, okay, I'm a local operator. I own buildings in X, Y, and Z. I'm interested in your town. Would you be interested in having a conversation about selling your property? We've bought 10 properties in the last 6 months. 4 of them were on market. We're not trying to steal deals. Would you be interested in having a conversation with me? So that's part of my spiel. I understand that the first one's harder than that because you don't get to say, I'm a self-storage operator. I own these buildings. You just got to get really resourceful and find a way to talk to the people and get them to send you some information so you can put an offer in front of them.
What do you think of this interview so far? Is there anything you would ask Nick? Let me know down in the comments. Maybe we can get him to answer some of these. Why would somebody turn down the offer that you sent? So you said you sent 7. You did all of this, right? It sounds like in the bottom of the funnel, the choke point would be what? Why are they turning down these deals?
Some of them aren't ready to retire. Some of them are fishing for offers. Some of them are getting other stronger offers. Not a ton. We're offering strong amounts for the owners too, but yeah, it's just you're approaching people cold off the streets who owned a property, and getting them to change their mind to sell it to you is a hard ask.
Okay, I know people that own properties like this, and they're all like 65 plus. They're very close to being dead or retired. They don't care about selling at all. And like I'm thinking of one specific person who owns multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio. She wouldn't talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not going to answer the phone.
Yeah, getting past the gatekeeper is a phenomenally hard challenge. But yeah, you talk about the way these folks operate. We did a $13 million deal that we closed half in April, half in May. 1,400 units, 1,300 tenants, all of it done on pencil and paper. All of it. No software, no Microsoft Excel. Their accountant has a QuickBooks, but they don't use it. They do all of their record keeping for 1,400 tenants on pen and paper.
Do you have any passion for software at all? Would you build something like this for the storage unit owners?
I am super passionate about software. We use our software stack. I think is one of the most advanced in the business. Like, we are using everything. We're using Salesforce and Ring Central and Easy Storage Solutions and Slack and obviously a lot of the others. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know why I would focus on building it to compete with these people when I can use what they're building to make a lot of money in a sweaty, boring business like self-storage.
I think that's interesting. Is there anything else like self-storage that you think other entrepreneurs are sleeping on? Any other big opportunities that you've been?
So the real estate opportunities that I like right now are operational heavy, meaning there is a small business aspect to them, because what that does is it keeps institutional money out. Because institutional money, they like scalability. They like deploying $50 million. So they're going to go buy giant office buildings, giant retail plazas, giant medical offices, hospitals, nursing homes, all these big, big things that maybe they're operational heavy, but they're bigger, they're scalable. For starting out entrepreneurs with a couple $100,000, the sweatier the better. The smaller the town, the better. Because that means the cash flow will be better. Meaning, like, if you can buy a RV park and operate an RV park, there's not very many people who know how to do that. There's not very many people willing to do it. So going after smaller, sweaty, operational heavy real estate plays and combining them together and growing and scaling and applying technology to them is a big opportunity.
It's so interesting. And sometimes they hit too, like I'm in Vegas and the Luxor Hotel was built on top of an RV park at one point. So somebody owned this real estate and then it became worth, multi-millions of dollars when they wanted to knock it down and build a hotel. Yeah.
Yep, that's called a covered land play. Yep, meaning if you can just find a way to cash flow and hold real estate for 10 years and you're in a really good location, that real estate can get a lot more valuable.
That's awesome. Okay, what are you promoting? Where are people, what do you need from our audience?
Yeah, so I think following me on Twitter at Sweaty Startup is a good place to just see how I think about real estate and small business and life, which is contrary to a lot of the ways that you think about entrepreneurship, small business, and life from the media. So there, my website, sweatystartup.com. They can email me, nick@sweatystartup. That's it, man. I'm writing courses and doing paid communities and also just giving away a lot of free stuff on the podcast and Twitter. So I'm just enjoying myself.
I'm sold too, man. I feel like I got to be in that community. I got to get
Come
a
on
little
in.
bit more cash. Thanks for being here.
Alex, I appreciate you having me on, man. Thanks for everything.
If you're struggling to get clients that pay you what you deserve and you want a quick path from 0 to 10K a month in your agency, check out email10k.com. You can see that. We'll link it right down below and you can check that out. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to smash that like button to encourage this type of content in the future. Subscribe for more videos like this. And if you want to grow your agency from 0 to 10K a month, check out email10k.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.